They will come out against you from one direction, but will flee from you in 7 directions. Yahweh says he will send a blessing on your barns and your storehouses, and in everything you set your hand to do. Yahweh will bless you in the land which Yahweh your Father is giving you. That's each and every one of us giving you. No special person. There is no respect of person in Yahweh's eyes. Verse 9 says, Yahweh will establish you as his holy people upon himself, as he promised you on an oath, if you will keep the laws of Yahweh your Father and walk in his ways. Let us look at ways as being in capital letters, because we know that his son, Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, came and showed us the way to get back to the Father, because we all sinned and have fallen short of the glory of the Father, which would prevent us from returning back to him. So the Father saying that he will establish you as his holy people unto himself, as he promised you on an oath, if you keep the laws of Yahweh your Father and walk in all his ways. Now that's a promise. He even went so far, he meaning the Father, Yahweh, went so far as to make an oath to us. Oh, can you get this? The creator of all things is saying, I will enter into an agreement with you, and I take an oath that if you keep my commandments and walk in my ways, and his ways, when asked, the Messiah said, the greatest of all of the ways, the greatest of all of the laws, is to love the Lord thy Father, thy Yah, with all thy heart and all thy ways, and have no other little g God before us. And he went on to say, love one another. You love one another. Attack one another? No. Love one another. Shoot one another? No. Love one another. Blessed are those who love even their enemies. Blessed are those who persecute you. Love them. Love. We live by the sword. We live by the Uzis. We live by the 9mm. We live by any kind of weapon or explosive devices. We will die by those explosive devices. If we use gases against one another, then gases will be used against what we meant to someone. It will return to us. It will be pressed down, shaken together, and returned to the same bosom who met that kind of evil. So, my brothers and my sisters, I want to be blessed, because he goes on to say, Moses, that if we don't keep the Father's laws, that there will be curses. He will open up the heavens if we, the storehouses of his bountiful treasures, and send to us if we obey. There's no other way. If we obey, all of these things will come upon us, the blessings. But if we don't do it, he said in verse 15, however, if you do not obey Yahweh your Father, and do not carefully follow all his laws and his statutes, which I command you this day, then all these curses will come upon you and accompany you. Folks, don't be deceived. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't have to live by the law. Not every precept, the 600 and some precepts, But the precept and every command of his commandments are still in force. Yeshua didn't come to do away with them. He came to what? Fulfill them. So that through him, sin would come upon him and he would die on a cross, suffering for the sins of the world. But that did not exempt us from obeying the Father's law. He never said it. He never demonstrated it. He always said, I speak the things that the Father tells me to speak. I do what the Father tells me to do. You see me, you see the Father. So folks, don't be deceived that we're no longer under law. Don't be deceived by these folks who would tickle your ears to make you feel good and say, oh, you're no longer under the 10 Commandments, especially the 4th one. And you read them for yourself. The 10 Commandments, he said you must obey and follow the way. The way of whom? The way of the Christ, the Curious, Yeshua. But if you don't, he said, cursed will you be in the city, and cursed will you be in the country. Cursed will be your basket and your storehouses. Cursed will be the fruit of your body, the produce of your land, the calves of your herd, the lambs of your flock. Cursed will you be when you come in, and cursed will you be when you go out. Yahweh will send upon you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to do until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the wickedness you have done in forsaking me. Folks, it's not all about doing what society tells you what to do, but first and foremost, he says forsaking me, not forsaking the United States, not forsaking Jerusalem, but forsaking me. The United States, Jerusalem, or any other country is nothing special about it in the eyes of the Father. His eyes upon us, just as his eyes are upon a sparrow, and we're worth so much more than a sparrow. So his eyes are on us, not on the United States, not on Missouri, not on Los Angeles, not on New York, not on Florida, but not any state has any special meaning to the Father. It's those who are within those states. Or are you hearing me? You are the source of the blessings, and you are the source of the curses if we don't hearken to his word. Yahweh will strike you with consumption, with a fever, with an inflammation, with scorching heat, with the sword, with blasting, and with mildew. They will stay with you until you perish. Oh Lord, have mercy on us. Yah, have mercy on us. And the heaven that is over your heads shall be brass, and the earth under you shall be iron. Yahweh shall make the rain of your land powder and dust. From heaven it shall come down upon you until you are destroyed. Yahweh will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will go out in one direction against them and flee in 7 directions in front of them. You will be an awe-inspiring spectacle to all the kingdoms of the earth. Brothers and sisters, and I call you brothers and sister, be not deceived to think that we are so important to the kingdom works that are here in the earth. Do not be deceived by your worshiping in a building once a week. Do not be deceived because of all of the wealth that you have now and others don't have. Be not deceived that you're not supposed to be your brother's keeper. Be not deceived that you're to show anger to anger. Be not deceived that an eye for an eye is something that you should do. Be not deceived. But in all cases, first seek ye the kingdom of the Father in heaven and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. All of those blessings will be yours. Your enemies will be under your feet. Don't feel that you have to fight. This is not a battle for us. Nothing that we do by way of what our might is or what we think we have power in. Be not deceived. I beseech you today. Be not deceived. Our Father is not asleep. He never slumbers. He's watching everything that we as a nation are doing. Do not think that we are so powerful that we can reach out and we can fight with the Father. Be not deceived. Be not deceived, young people. There is hope. There is hope. You're not hopeless. There is hope. Just hold on and read the word of the Most High Heavenly Father. There is hope. The hope that we read about and we know that is true. There is hope, saints. I want you to know that there is hope. Hope. We hear from the Apostle Paul and other writers in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. You read it in its entirety. Hebrews, New Testament Hebrews, chapter 11. But I'll extract verse 1, which reads, hope. Watch this. Hope, young folks. There's hope. You may not have a job. You may not have the right kind of situation in your home right now. Don't be deceived. Don't be desperate to the point that you place your own life in jeopardy, or even prison, as the Father said with us, to be destroyed. Don't do it. Don't do it. Take a page from what we did. Those of us who've gone on before you, and those of us who are with you now, who fought so hard that you would have the freedom to have hope. It is not over. Don't be deceived, my young brothers and sisters. Your brother Samuel Kirkland, Sr. At this point, right now in my life, I have 3 members and in-laws that are in harm's way. They're all in the military. And they're all descendants, 5th generations from slavery. Yours truly was involved in 2 skirmishes. I was in Dominican Republic and also in Vietnam. And it was not easy to be in Vietnam, trying to stay alive and hear about the atrocities back in the United States. Hearing about my brothers and sisters being placed at the mercy of dogs and being hit with the pressure from water hoses. And even afterwards to hear about the little girls that were bummed up in Birmingham. I eventually went to that church as a pastor, as a doctor of theology, and I spoke there, the very same church. So you may feel that there is no hope, but there is. The word says faith. Faith is what you've got to draw from, young folks. Street violence is not going to do it. I've been there. Went through the 60s. Went through the riots in Florida.